A prince with no power just crushed a noble to her knees without touching her. His master, a myth, his bride, an alien princess who tried to kill him. And now, the man who murdered his family has invaded her home. Vengeance, bloodlines, and a galaxy full of secrets. This isn't just war. It's the awakening of something older, darker, and watching from beyond the stars. You're not ready for what's coming. The twin moons of Cerulean Prime hung low, casting a silver-blue glow over the crystalline spires of the Ranrock Palace, where whispers of ancient oaths and galactic power stirred the air. Inside the grand hall, Kale Troy Ashbourne felt every eye on him as he crossed the violet marble floor, his scarred leather jacket a stark contrast to the shimmering gowns and liquid metal suits around him. At 20, he carried the weight of a bloodline most thought extinct, his sharp features and shifting eyes betraying nothing of the storm within. Why had he come here? To a place that mocked his name? Could he really honor a pact made by warriors? Long dead, the hall buzzed with murmurs, nobles from 12 great houses sipping drinks that sparkled like captured comets, their neural implants humming as they sized him up. A voice sliced through the din, sharp and indignant, from a balcony. Above, Rema Ranrock stood there, her violet skin glowing faintly, silver braids glinting like starlight. "Why do I have to marry a human?" she demanded, her electric blue eyes flashing. "He's got no power, no family. Just look at his hair like some smuggler's." Laughter rippled through the crowd, but Kale kept moving, his boots echoing. With purpose. Did she think her words could unravel him, or was there something beneath her anger, something she wasn't saying? He stopped before Lady Tracia, Rema's mother, seated on a throne that pulsed with energy, her face a mask of calm authority. Kale bowed, precise and formal. Kale Ashbourne arrived as contracted. Tracia's nod was slight but genuine. "Welcome, last son of Ashbourne. The ancient pact is honored." The whispers grew louder. No power, a boy, a relic, until Lady Aurelia Valsha stepped forward, her emerald skin gleaming, rings on her fingers crackling with stored energy. "If he's so weak," she sneered, "how dare he address Tracia? Directly?" Her hand rose, power sparking between her fingers. What did she expect? A flinch, a plea? Kale moved faster than thought, catching her wrist mid-air, pulling her close. The hall gasped as he leaned in, his voice low but carrying. "Out of respect for your beauty and my future bride's family, you get a pass. But disrespect House Ashbourne again, and I won't be so kind." He released her, and before she could recover, an invisible force pressed her to her knees, the air around her heavy as liquid metal. Jaws dropped. Hadn't they called him powerless? What was this energy, bending reality itself? Rema's expression shifted from scorn to shock, her violet cheeks flushing. Ranrock guards surged forward, energy blades humming, their commander snarling, "You're dead, human!" Kale didn't flinch. With a flick of his hand, the lead warrior, a towering hybrid, flew forward, slammed to the ground with a crack that fractured the marble. Who had trained this boy to wield such force? Before chaos could erupt, a woman appeared at the entrance, her presence a tidal wave of power. She moved like gravity itself bowed to her, pale skin glowing faintly. With a wave, she sent the guards, crashing into walls, their weapons fizzling out. Kale knelt instantly. "Master, why are you here?" The hall fell silent. Who was she? What house claimed her? She approached, her fingers grazing his jaw. "Kale, darling, I asked you to come, modestly, and claim what's yours." Her voice was music laced with danger. "They insulted House Ashbourne," he said, meeting her gaze. "I couldn't allow that, as you taught me." The air rippled, pulling everyone into a memory 15 years old. A 5-year-old Kale crouched in Nova Arcadia's slums, bruised and bleeding, surrounded by jeering children. "Ashbourne trash," they taunted, stones flying. "Your family's dead because they were weak." He curled tighter, accepting their words, until she appeared. Her dress flowed like liquid starlight, silencing the bullies with her mere presence. Kneeling beside him, her voice was soft but fierce. "Little one, how dare you let them insult? Your family while you smile? Kale whispered. They're all dead. They abandoned me. Her slap was sharp, not cruel. You are the last heir of House Ashbourne. Never dishonor your name. Get up. Something broke inside him, or woke. He stood, blood dripping, and fought with a precision that left the bullies groaning. She smiled. Kneel. Swear the oath of apprentice. The memory faded, leaving the hall stunned. This woman, Celine, was no myth. She was his master. Lady Tracia rose, her voice cutting through the tension. Introductions are in order. Celine's smile was a blade. Indeed, I am Celine. No title, no house, just a name that hung heavy. Rema descended, her earlier fury now cautious curiosity. The contract stands, Tracia declared, but we should discuss details. Kale's eyes met Rema's, not as enemies or pawns, but as equals with secrets yet to share. I look forward to it, he murmured, just for her. Her lips twitched. Don't get comfortable, human. I'm not convinced you're worth my time. His smile was a challenge. Then I'll prove you wrong, won't I? Rema stormed. Through the palace's crystalline corridors, her violet skin pulsing with anger, the air crackling with her energy. Servants scattered as she passed. Did they sense the storm in her heart? She burst into the family gardens, a biodome where alien flora thrived under an artificial sky. In the lunar grove, silver trees glowed, their translucent leaves chiming softly. She collapsed onto a bench, yanking pins from her braids. Arrogant, primitive human, she muttered, strutting into my home like he owns it. I don't. Strut, came a voice. It's more of a confident stride. Kale leaned against a tree, lunar light carving shadows across his scarred jaw. Rema whirled, eyes blazing. How did you get in here? These gardens are keyed to Ranrock blood. He shrugged. Same way I stopped Valsha. I bend rules, genetic ones included. Was he mocking her, or was there truth in his calm? You humiliated me, she snapped. You started it, he countered, with that smuggler jab. She gestured at his head. Your hair does look like it was cut with a vibro blade in the dark. Combat knife, he said unfazed. 3 days ago. Cargo transports aren't big on mirrors. Why was he so infuriatingly relaxed? Why's the last Ashbourne on a cargo ship, she pressed. No fleet, no fortune? Pain flickered in his eyes, gone in a blink. I travel how I need to. Not all of us grew up in palaces, princess. Don't call me that. What should I call my future wife? He stepped closer. She stepped back. This marriage won't happen, she said. Not after your stunt. You mean defending myself, or showing House Ashbourne isn't dead? His tone hardened. Where I'm from, raising a hand gets you worse than what Valsha got. Rema snatched a venom fruit from a bush, deadly to humans, tart to Ranrocks, and hurled it at him. He caught it, took a bite. Her jaw dropped as the fruit sizzled, harmless in his mouth. Should have killed you, she stammered. Immunities, he said, chewing. Part of my training. What kind of life forged a man like this? What? Training turns a human into whatever you are. Silence fell, the lunar trees' chime filling the gap. The kind you get when your family's slaughtered and you're hunted across 17 systems. Her anger faltered. I didn't know. You didn't ask. He tossed the fruit aside. You thought I was some weak pawn, just like I thought you were a spoiled noble. Maybe we're both wrong. She stepped closer, challenging. You're here by choice, not just duty. His voice dropped. I could have vanished into the outer rim, but I didn't. An Ashbourne keeps promises. And I was curious about the violet-skinned princess I'd marry. Her breath caught. Disappointed. His gaze lingered. Not yet. An explosion shattered the moment, alarms screaming as the artificial sky turned blood red. Kale yanked her down as the dome cracked, shards raining. His energy shield flared, deflecting debris. Stay down, he ordered, drawing a sleek weapon. Guards! Rema shouted into her communicator. Static replied. Through the broken dome, a shuttle descended, its hull marked with an inverted sun pierced by a sword. House Valoran, she whispered. Impossible. Shields are compromised, Kale said. Someone sold your codes. How do you know? Because he's been planning this for years. His face was stone. Malrich Valoran, the man who killed my family. Now he's here for yours. Troops poured from the shuttle, gene-modified. Soldiers, not mercenaries. Rema gripped her ceremonial dagger. "We warned my mother. Defenses are down," Kale said. "We're on our own." Another blast shook the ground. "There's a secret exit, isn't there?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Behind the weeping oracle. But it means abandoning. It means surviving," he cut in. "Retreat's strategy, not surrender." They crept through the underbrush, dodging search beams, reaching the black stone statue leaking silver tears. Rema's touch opened a hidden staircase. In the crimson-lit tunnel, she whispered, "How do you know Malrich would come?" "I've been hunting him since I was 9, Kale said, voice flat. "Or rather, we've been hunting each other." The tunnel led to a bunker, neutronium walls, old but functional tech. Rema hit the comms while Kale secured the door. "Why aren't you angrier?" she asked. "He destroyed your family, attacks mine, yet you're calm." He checked a pulse. "Rifle. Malrich thinks I'm a scared boy. Let him. My teacher taught me, never rush vengeance. Let your enemy think they've won." "Your teacher, Celine?" He nodded. "Are you two together?" Laughter burst from him, raw and genuine. "She's like my mother." Monitors flickered, showing Malrich Valoran on Tracia's throne. His pale skin veined in black, mechanical eyes glowing yellow. "Your loyalty to Ranrock ends today," he boomed. "Swear to Valoran, or share Ashbourne's fate, erased." Nobles knelt. Tracia stood defiant. "My daughter will never be yours," she spat. Malrich's pointed teeth gleamed. "She'll make a fine 5th wife." Rema's fists clenched. The bunker wall exploded. Kale shielded her as debris flew. Valoran elites stood in the breach. "Time to go," Kale muttered, blasting a hole in the opposite wall. They fought through lower levels, Kale's precision deadly, Rema's bioenergy disrupting enemy nerves. Cornered near the Grand Hall, she protested, "It's suicide." "To go in." "Trust me," he said, eyes locked on hers. "I've waited 15 years. They burst into the hall, the explosion scattering guards. Malrich rose, shocked. "The child! You survived." Disappointed, Kale stepped over bodies. Malrich sneered, terrified, beyond reason. Kale's calm held. "Fear's just energy, waiting to be redirected." Malrich ordered, "Kill." "The boy, bring the girl." Guards charged, chimeras with grafted weapons. Rema froze as Kale moved, fluid and lethal, the air his weapon. In moments, he stood atop a pile of corpses. "Almost disappointing," he told Malrich. "I thought you'd be stronger." "Why won't you die?" Malrich screamed. A memory surfaced. 300 years ago, a girl named Celine, called Cursed, was saved by Clan Ashbourne's leader. "Come with me," he'd said, "and control your power." She'd sworn loyalty, becoming the Phantom Lady. Now, in the hall, Celine entered, freezing all with crushing pressure. "Today, dear one," she told Kale, "we avenge our family." Malrich scrambled back, recognizing her. "The ghost of Ashbourne, a myth." Her smile was ice. "Myths endure. You don't." Kale's hand flicked. Malrich flew into his grip. "The debt is paid," Kale said, crushing his throat with calm precision. The body slumped, eyes dark. Kale knelt to Celine, tears breaking free. Not for Malrich, but for his lost family, his long journey. "Without you, I'd have died in those ruins." She embraced him. "This was your right as heir." Tracia approached. "House Ranrock recognizes the debt paid. Our alliance stands renewed." Rema met Kale's gaze, respect replacing scorn. "If the contract holds, I'll honor it." 3 months later, the palace gleamed, battle scars gone. The wedding united Ranrock and Ashbourne, a galactic power shift. Kale, in a suit blending human and Ranrock styles, watched Rema enter, her starlight gown breathtaking. Their vows, spoken in ancient tongues, sealed more than a marriage, a dynasty reborn. On a balcony later, Rema teased, "Husband, I never thought I'd call a human that." "Wife," he replied, "I never thought I'd say it at all." "Are you as certain about building a family as you were about vengeance?" she asked. He paused. "Revenge was simple. Living's harder." She laughed. "Not romantic. I'm honest," he said, taking her hand. "I'll be faithful not just for duty, but because I admire you." Her eyes softened. "There's time for more." 5 years on, in the new Ashbourne Palace, Celine trained their twins, Zar and Darian, their potential vast. Kale and Rema watched, hands entwined. "Not too hard on them?" Kale asked. Celine smiled. "No harder than on you." Rema noted their progress. They'll surpass us, Celine said. That night, Kale mentioned another Valoran assassination attempt, neutralized, predictable. Finish them, Rema suggested. Let them waste their strength, he countered. Their balance, her fire, his patience, had rebuilt Ashbourne into a galactic force, yet the stars held secrets. Beyond the rim, shadows stirred, ancient enemies, new threats. Zar and Darian trained, unaware of the challenges awaiting. Celine's gaze turned outward, sensing ripples in the void. What forces gathered there? Could the Alliance hold against what was coming? In the quiet of their study, Rema traced a data crystal's glow. Our children. Will we bind them to contracts? Kale frowned. I hadn't thought that far. I have, she said. I hated being bound to you, a stranger, but now maybe our grandparents knew something. She squeezed his hand. I'd want our twins to choose, to know they're intended. He nodded. Tradition, but with freedom. A new path. The palace slept, but the galaxy didn't. Somewhere a signal pulsed, coded in forgotten tongues. Was it a warning, a call? Celine felt it, her eyes on the horizon. Kale and Rema, unaware, planned for peace, but peace was fragile. What would test their bond next? The twins laughed in their dreams, powers growing. The story stretched on, unwritten, into the stars. The Ashbourne Palace hummed with quiet energy, its walls of fused crystal and steel, reflecting the soft glow of Cerulean Prime's twin moons. Kale and Rema sat in their study, data crystals casting faint holograms of star charts and security reports across the desk. The air was warm, scented with earth lilies and the subtle tang of Ranrock crystal blooms. Rema swiped through a projection, her violet fingers pausing on a map of the outer rim. Another Valoran remnant cell hit one of our trade routes, she said, her voice steady but edged with irritation. They're like pests, small, persistent, and hard to crush. Kale leaned back, his sharp eyes scanning her face. They're testing us, seeing if we'll overreact and spread our forces thin. What's the damage? She flicked the hologram, revealing a damaged freighter's schematics. Minimal. One ship limping. No lives lost. But it's the third strike this month. They're bowl, he nodded, rubbing the faint scar along his jaw. Had Malrich's shadow really faded, or was something bigger stirring? Let's tighten patrols, but hold back on a full sweep. They want us chasing ghosts. Their conversation paused as a soft chime echoed, Zar and Darian's laughter filtering through the open door. The twins, now 4, were in the training hall with Celine, their energy spheres flickering like tiny stars. Rema's lips curved slightly. They're getting stronger. Zar nearly knocked Darian flat today. Kale's gaze softened. They've got your fire. And my stubbornness. She raised an eyebrow. Yours. I'm the one who doesn't budge. He chuckled. The sound low and warm. Why did these moments, quiet, fleeting, feel more vital than any victory? And you know, moments like these, the laughter of kids, the weight of what's coming, it's what keeps this galaxy spinning, isn't it? Speaking of family, I want to bring you into ours for a second. See, Kale and Rema are staring down. Secrets that could shake everything they've built, and I'm betting you're wondering what that signal from the rim really means. So let's talk about it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what do you think Zar and Darian's powers will become as they grow? Are they destined to outshine their parents, or is something darker waiting? Your theories fuel this story as much as those twin moons light up Cerulean Prime. Oh, and if you're loving this journey through the stars, hit that like button. It's like sending a pulse rifle charge to keep us powered up. Better yet, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Trust me, the galaxy's about to get a lot wilder. Now back to the palace, where that signal's about to change everything. The hologram flickered, replaced by an incoming transmission. A Ranrock commander appeared, his lavender skin taut with urgency. My lady, my lord, we've intercepted a signal from the rim. It's unusual, coded in an old dialect, pre-conclave. We can't crack it yet. Rema leaned forward. Source? The commander hesitated. It's bouncing through dead relays, systems abandoned since the Crimson Devourer Wars. We're tracing it, but it's like chasing echoes. Kale's expression hardened. Send the raw data and double the watch on those relays. The commander nodded and the feed cut out. Rema turned to him, her blue eyes searching. You think it's Valoran? Maybe, he said, voice low. or something older. Those relays haven't been touched in centuries. Who even knows they exist? Her fingers tapped the desk, a rhythm of unease. We've rebuilt, Kale. The alliance is strong, the house is united. Why does it feel like the ground's shifting under us? He reached for her hand, his grip firm. Because power attracts predators. Always has, but we're not prey. Was he reassuring her or himself? In the training hall, Celine stood like a statue carved from starlight, her pale skin glowing faintly. As she guided the twins, Za's sphere stabilized, pulsing steadily, while Darian's wobbled, scattering spark. Focus, Darian, Celine said, her voice calm but unyielding. Power is nothing without control. The boy, his human pale face scrunched, tried again, his blue eyes flashing with Ranrock intensity. Za giggled, her violet braids bouncing. You're gonna blow it up, Dari! Celine's lips twitched, but her gaze drifted to the window, where stars burned cold and distant. Something tugged at her senses, a ripple faint but persistent, like a whisper from the void. What had she missed? Kale and Rema joined them, slipping into the hall quietly. The twins rushed over, Za tugging Rema's sleeve, Darian mimicking Kale's stance with uncanny precision. Did you see my sphere, Mama? Za asked, eyes wide. Rema knelt, brushing a braid from her daughter's face. I did. You're faster than I was at your age. Darian looked up at Kale. Can we learn phantom pressure yet? Kale ruffled his hair. Soon. Master Celine decides when you're ready. Darian pouted, but Za grinned. I'll beat him to it. Their laughter filled the hall, but Celine's silence drew Kale's attention. What is it? He asked, voice low. She met his gaze, her expression unreadable. A shadow moves where none should be. That night, the palace slept under a velvet sky, but Kale couldn't rest. He stood on their chamber's balcony, the cool air sharp against his skin. Rema joined him, her starlight silk robe catching. The moonlight. You're brooding, she said, leaning against the railing. I'm thinking, he corrected, but his half-smile admitted she was right. That signal, it's not random. Someone's reaching out or baiting us. She tilted her head, studying him. You've faced worse than signals. Why's this one got you pacing? He exhaled, the scar on his jaw pale in the dim light. Because it feels like the past, like something I was supposed to bury. Her hand found his, her touch grounding. We've buried plenty together. If it's the past, we'll face it. If it's a trap, we'll break it. Her certainty sparked something in him. Admiration, gratitude, something deeper he still struggled to name. You're too practical for a queen, he teased. And you're too sentimental for a king, she shot back, her smile sharp. They stood there, the galaxy stretching endless above, its secrets waiting. What was out there, watching them? In the depths of the palace, Celine sat alone, her fingers tracing a data crystal older than most houses. Its surface pulsed with faint light, etched with symbols no living scholar could read. The intercepted signal played softly, a loop of static and tones that stirred memories she'd locked away. Wars before the conclave, worlds lost to fire, promises made in blood. She closed her eyes, letting her senses stretch beyond the palace. Beyond the system, there, a pulse deliberate, hidden in the noise. Was it a call for help or a hunter's lure? The next morning, the twins woke early, sneaking into the gardens where crystal ferns swayed in artificial breezes. Za plucked a glowing petal, giggling as it dissolved into sparks. Darian scanned the paths, mimicking Kale's wary stride. What if bad guys come? He whispered. Za rolled her eyes. We zap 'em like Papa. Their game paused as a shadow flickered. A drone, small and sleek, hovering just beyond the shield dome. Darian squinted. That's not ours. Before Za could answer, the drone vanished, leaving only a faint hum. Had it seen them? In the command center, Kale reviewed the signal data, lines of code scrolling across a holoscreen. Rema stood beside him, her arms crossed. Anything? She asked. It's layered, he said, frowning. Part of it's a map, coordinates in the Dead Vale, a sector even pirates avoid. Her eyes narrowed. Why there? He shook his head. No resources, no colonies, just ruins and radiation. The commander's voice crackled through. My lord, we've got a breach. Outer perimeter, a probe unmarked, slipped our scans. Kale's jaw tightened. Track it and prep a scout ship. We're going to the Vale. Rema grabbed his arm. We? You mean you're going? He met her gaze, steady but gentle. I need to see this myself. If it's nothing, I'm back in a week. If it's something, you'll know." Her lips pressed thin, but she nodded. "Take Celine." He hesitated. Celine hadn't left the palace in years. "She'll decide that," he said. Why did this feel like a step into a trap he couldn't yet see? Celine found him in the hangar, the scout ship's engines warming. "You're chasing ghosts," she said, her voice soft but piercing. "Maybe," he admitted, checking the ship's nav system, "but they're loud ghosts." She stepped closer, her presence heavy with unspoken history. "The dead veil isn't empty, Kale. Things sleep there, things even I don't challenge lightly." His hands stilled. "Then come with me. I need your eyes." Her smile was faint, almost sad. "You've grown beyond needing me, but I'll come, for you." What had she seen in that signal to agree so quickly? As the ship lifted off, Rema watched from the palace, the twins at her side. Zar tugged her hand. "Is Papa gonna fight monsters?" Darian scoffed. "He's not scared of anything." Rema knelt, pulling them close. "He's finding answers, not fighting. Yet." Her eyes stayed on the sky, where the ship vanished into the stars. The signal's coordinates burned in her mind. Why the Veil, of all places? Aboard the ship, Kale sat at the controls, Celine beside him, her silence heavier than the hum of hyperspace. The dead Veil loomed ahead, a graveyard of shattered worlds. The signal pulsed stronger now, its rhythm almost alive. "It's waiting for us," Celine murmured. Kale gripped the controls tighter. "Let it wait. We're not here to lose." But as the first ruins came into view, jagged spires floating in a haze of radiation, he felt the weight of eyes, ancient and unseen, tracking their every move. What had they woken? The palace, now distant, held its own secrets. Rema reviewed security logs, her instincts sharp. A second probe had been spotted closer this time, its design unlike Valoran's. She activated a comm to the outer fleet. "Lock the system down. No one in or out until I say." The twins slept, unaware of the tightening net. In the gardens, a crystal fern flickered, its light dimming for a moment, as if something had passed through. Was it just the wind, or had the palace missed another shadow? In the Vale, Kale's ship wove through debris fields, sensors screaming with interference. Celine's hand rested on a data crystal, its glow pulsing in time with the signal. "This isn't a relic," she said, her voice distant. "It's a beacon." Kale glanced at her, unease curling in his gut. For what? Her eyes met his, ancient and unyielding. "For us." The ship shuddered as something vast stirred in the dark, a shape not metal, not alive, but aware. Kale's breath caught. Had they found answers, or walked into a question too big to survive? The scout ship sliced through the dead veils. Haze, its hull vibrating faintly as it navigated a graveyard of shattered worlds. Jagged spires of forgotten cities loomed in the void, their edges glinting with residual radiation that painted the cockpit in eerie greens and violets. Kale sat at the controls, his hands steady, but his pulse quickening. The signal pulsed stronger now, a rhythmic hum that seemed to burrow into his bones. Celine beside him stared into the dark, her pale fingers curled around the ancient data crystal, its glow sinking with the beacon's beat. "It's not just calling us," she said, her voice low, almost drowned by the engine's drone. "It's watching." Kale's jaw tightened. What kind of trap waited in this desolate stretch of nothing? Outside, the debris field thickened, chunks of metal and stone orbiting in silent chaos, remnants of a civilization no one remembered. The ship's sensors screeched, overwhelmed by interference. Kale adjusted the nav system, weaving past a massive hull fragment that spun lazily, its surface etched with unreadable glyphs. "This place feels alive," he muttered. Celine's eyes flicked to him, sharp and unreadable. "It is in its way. The veil holds memories, some older than me." Her words hung heavy, stirring questions he didn't voice. How much did she know about this place? Why had she hesitated to come? Back on Cerulean Prime, Rema stood in the palace's command center, the holoscreens casting her violet skin in stark light. The second probe's data flickered across one display. Its design was angular, almost organic, nothing like Valoran tech. She tapped a comm to the outer fleet. "Anything on that trace?" The captain's voice crackled back, tense. "Negative, my lady. It vanished into a blind spot near the third moon. We're sweeping now." Rema's fingers drummed the console, widened the net. And check the archives. Cross-reference this design with anything pre-conclave. She cut the feed, her gaze lingering on the probe's image. Was it scouting or signaling something closer? In the gardens, Zar and Darian played under the watchful eyes of a Ranrock guard, their laughter echoing off crystal ferns. Zar tossed a glowing orb, her energy manipulation wobbly but improving. Darian caught it, grinning, then froze, his blue eyes narrowing at the dome above. Zar, did you see that? She followed his gaze, squinting. A faint shimmer, like a ripple in water, crossed the shield's surface, gone in a blink. Prolly. Just a bird, she said, but her voice wavered. Darian shook his head, mimicking Kale's wary stance. Birds don't move like that. The guard noticed their stillness and scanned the dome, her hand on her weapon. Nothing. Yet the air felt heavier, as if the garden held its breath. Aboard the ship, the signals spiked and a holomap materialized, pinpointing a structure deep in the veil, a jagged monolith orbiting a dead star. Kale frowned. That's no ruin. It's intact. Celine leaned closer, her crystal pulsing faster. It's a vault, she said, voice distant. Built to hide something or keep it contained. The ship shuddered, sensors detecting a gravitational anomaly. Kale banked hard, avoiding a sudden pull from the star's corpse. Contained what? He asked. But Celine's silence answered nothing, her gaze locked on the monolith's coordinates. Was she remembering or hiding something? The palace's archive chamber glowed faintly, its walls lined with data crystals older than the Ranrock dynasty. Rema stood alone, inputting the probe specs into a quantum analyzer. The machine hummed, cross-referencing against millennia of records. A match flickered, a fragment from the Crimson Devourer Wars, describing a sentinel drone tied to a lost faction, the Arathi, who vanished before the conclave rose. The record was incomplete, ending in a warning. They watch where none should see. Rema's breath caught. Arathi tech was myth. Why was it here now? She activated a secure comm to the fleet. Redirect a squadron to the third moon. I want that blind spot cracked open. In the veil, Kale's ship approached the monolith, its surface black and seamless, absorbing light like a wound in space. The signal was deafening now, a chant in no known tongue. Celine's crystal flared, projecting symbols that danced across the cockpit. Spirals, jagged lines, a language of dread. We shouldn't be here, she whispered, almost to herself. Kale shot her a glance. You agreed to come. Her smile was thin, ancient. Not all choices are free. The ship jolted as a pulse of energy grazed its shields, invisible but deliberate. Kale's hands flew across the controls, stabilizing them. That wasn't random, he said. Something's defending it. On Cerulean, the twins slipped into the training hall, sneaking past their guard's notice. Zai clutched a small crystal Darian had swiped from Celine's quarters, its faint glow warm in her hand. We shouldn't, Darian whispered, but Zar's grin was fearless. It's just a rock. Let's try it. They sat cross-legged, mimicking Celine's lessons, and Zar focused, her energy sparking. The crystal pulsed, and a low hum filled the hall, not theirs. Darian grabbed her arm. Stop! The hum grew, vibrating the walls, and a shadow flickered across the crystal surface. Not a reflection, but a shape, eyeless yet watching. Zar dropped it, gasping as the hum died. The guards burst in, alarmed. What had they touched? The monolith loomed closer, its presence oppressive. Kale's sensors picked up faint emissions, power, not decay. This thing's active, he said, voice tight. Celine nodded, her crystal now a beacon of its own, syncing with the vault's pulse. It's waking, she said. A seam appeared on the monolith's surface, splitting silently to reveal a cavernous interior lit by a sickly violet glow. Kale hesitated, then set the ship's approach. We go in or we run? Your call. Celine's eyes met his, heavy, with secrets. In, some truths can't be fled. The ship crossed the threshold, swallowed by the vault's maw. Inside, the walls shimmered with patterns, alive, aware, ancient. What had they entered? Rema's comm buzzed with the fleet's report. The third moon's blind spot held a derelict craft, its hull Arathi marked, powered but empty. Board it, she ordered, her gut twisting. In the palace, the twins huddled with their guard, the crystal locked away, but Za whispered to Darian, "It saw us." He nodded, pale. "Don't tell Mama." The guard's scanner beeped. A new anomaly, closer, within the palace grounds. Rema, unaware, studied the derelict's first scans. A log, fragmented, mentioning a vault and a watcher unbound. Her blood chilled. Was this tied to Kale's mission? Inside the vault, Kale's ship drifted through a chamber vast as a cathedral, its walls pulsing with those same spirals. The signal was everywhere, a chorus now tugging at his mind. Selene stood, her crystal blazing, and spoke a word, not human, not Ranrock, but something older. The walls responded, lights flaring, revealing a platform below where a shape waited. Not machine, not creature, but both, its edges blurring like a dream. Kale's hand hovered over the weapons console. "What is that?" Selene's voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed fear. "The first Guardian, and it knows we're here." The shape stirred, its form rippling, and Kale felt its gaze, cold, endless, curious. Had they come for answers, or become the answer to something else? The palace's alarms blared as the anomaly surged, a probe, cloaked, breaching the inner shields. Rema ran to the command center, barking orders. "Lock the twins' wing, full spectrum scan." The derelict's log looped in her mind. The Watcher sees all who seek. She opened a comm to Kale, praying it reached the veil. Static answered, then a faint whisper. Not his voice, but something else, mimicking it. "We see you." Her heart stopped. What had they woken? In the training hall, Za clutched Darian's hand, the crystal shadow lingering in her mind. "It's coming," she whispered. Outside, the stars dimmed, as if the galaxy itself held its breath. Kale gripped the controls, the Guardian's gaze pinning him like prey. The vault's walls shifted, closing in, the chorus now a scream. Selene raised her crystal, her power flaring, but the Guardian moved faster, its form splintering into fragments that circled them. "Hold on!" Kale shouted, banking the ship as energy lashed out, grazing the hull. Selene chanted, her voice a blade against the chaos, but the fragments reformed, larger, hungrier. "It's not attacking," she gasped. "It's testing." Kale's eyes narrowed. Testing what? The Guardian's voice, if it was a voice, echoed in their minds, not words but intent. Prove worth. The ship lurched, drawn deeper into the vault, toward a light that pulsed like a heart. What did it want from them? On Cerulean, Rema sealed. The palace, her forces hunting the cloaked probe. The derelict's log revealed more. The vault binds the first, but seekers free it. She slammed her fist on the console. "Kale, what did you find?" The twins, now in their sealed quarters, sat quietly, but Za's eyes kept drifting to the window, where the shimmer returned stronger. Darian whispered, "We shouldn't have touched it." The guard's scanner spiked, detecting movement inside the walls. Rema's comm buzzed with the fleet's frantic report. The derelict wasn't empty anymore. Shapes moved within, mirroring the probe's design. Had they invited this, or was it always waiting? The vault's heartlight grew blinding, and Kale felt time slip, seconds stretching, his thoughts heavy. The Guardian's fragments danced, each strike precise, probing their defenses. Selene's power held, but sweat beaded her brow. "It's learning," she said, voice strained, "from us." Kale fired a pulse, scattering a fragment, but it reformed instantly. "Then we learn faster." He dove the ship toward the light, instinct screaming to act, not think. The Guardian followed, its intent clearer now. Choose or be chosen. The light enveloped them, and for a moment Kale saw, not the vault, but a memory, not his. A world burning, a child's scream, Selene's face, younger, terrified. Was this hers or the Guardian's? Rema's forces cornered the probe in the palace's sublevels, its cloaking failing. It wasn't a drone, but a construct, half machine, half flesh, twitching like a wounded animal. "Contain it," she ordered, her dagger drawn. The construct's surface rippled, projecting a hologram. Kale's ship, trapped in the vault, the Guardian circling, her breath hitched. Find a way to reach him. Now! The twins, against orders, slipped into the command center, Za clutching the crystal again. "Mama, it's calling us too," she said, voice small. Rema spun, fear and fury colliding. What did you do? The crystal pulsed, and the construct screamed, sinking with it. The palace shook, lights flickering as something vast stirred beyond the stars. What had they all unleashed? The vault's heartlight pulsed like a dying star, its violet glow flooding the scout ship's cockpit, casting jagged shadows across Kale's face. He gripped the controls, sweat beading on his brow as the Guardian's fragments, neither machine nor flesh, but something impossibly both, swirled around them, their edges blurring into the air like ink in water. Each fragment moved with purpose, darting in to test the ship's shields, then retreating, as if playing a game only it understood. Selene stood rigid, her ancient data crystal blazing in her hand, its symbols spiraling across the walls in a language that felt alive, whispering secrets older than the galaxy itself. It's not just testing us, she said, her voice taut, almost lost in the rising hum of the vault. It's judging. Kale's eyes flicked to her, then back to the light. Judging what? Our strength, our right to be here. The Guardian's intent pulsed in his mind, not words, but a pressure, prove or perish. What kind of choice was that? The ship shuddered, caught in a gravitational eddy that shouldn't exist inside a structure. Kale banked hard, dodging a fragment that lashed out, its strike grazing the hull with a screech of tortured metal. Sparks flared across the console, and a warning blared. Shields at 60%. We can't keep dancing like this, he growled, fingers flying over the controls to reroute power. Selene's chant grew louder, her power flaring in waves that pushed back the fragments, but her face was pale, her breath uneven. It's learning our limits, she said, eyes locked on the heartlight. And it's not alone. Kale's stomach twisted. What else is in here? She didn't answer, but the vault's walls shifted, revealing new seams that bled the same violet glow, as if the entire structure was waking. Had they stumbled into a trap, or were they the ones who triggered it? On Cerulean Prime, the palace trembled under a low-frequency hum, barely audible, but enough to set Rema's teeth on edge. She stood in the sub-level containment chamber, staring at the captured construct, half machine, half flesh, its surface twitching like a living thing. Its hologram flickered, showing Kale's ship spiraling deeper into the vault, the Guardian's fragments closing in. Her dagger gleamed in her hand, useless against this thing. "Talk to me," she snapped at the tech scrambling around her. "What is it?" A young analyst, her lavender skin flushed, stammered, "It's Orethi, my lady, pre-conclave. The archives call them sentinels, built to guard something or signal it." Rema's eyes narrowed. Signal what? The constructs. Surface rippled, and a sound, not a voice but a mimicry, slithered from it. Seekers found. Her blood ran cold. Was this thing linked to Kale's mission, or had it come for her? Above, in the twins' sealed quarters, Zar and Darian sat on the floor, the stolen crystal between them, its faint glow pulsing like a heartbeat. Zar's violet fingers hovered over it, trembling. "We shouldn't touch it again," Darian whispered, his human pale face tight with fear. Zar's blue eyes flashed, defiant. "It knows something, Dari. Didn't you feel it?" He nodded, reluctant, remembering the shadow in the crystal. Not theirs, but something, watching. The room's lights flickered, and a soft hum vibrated the walls, syncing with the crystal's glow. Zar reached out, ignoring Darian's gasp, and the hum spiked, a shadow flickering inside the crystal again, larger, sharper, with edges that suggested limbs or claws. The door hissed open, a guard bursting in. "What are you doing?" she shouted, snatching the crystal. The hum stopped, but Zar's whisper lingered. "It's still here." In the vault, the heartlight swelled, drowning the cockpit in blinding violet. Kale's vision blurred, time stretching like taffy. Seconds felt like minutes, his thoughts heavy as stone. The Guardian's fragments merged, reforming into a single shape, vast and fluid, its surface rippling with those same spirals. It didn't attack, but its presence pressed against his mind, a question without words. "Why are you here?" Selene's chant faltered, her crystal cracking under the strain, tiny fractures spiderwebbing its surface. "Kale," she gasped, "it's not just a guardian, it's a mind." He stared at the shape, its form shifting, now humanoid, now a storm of light, now something with too many eyes. "A mind for what?" he demanded, firing a pulse that scattered it briefly, only for it to reform closer. The ship lurched, drawn. toward the light, and Celine's voice was barely a whisper. "For something we weren't meant to find." Remma's comm buzzed with the fleet's report. The derelict near the third moon was active, its hull pulsing with the same organic tech as the palace construct. "It's not empty," the captain said, voice shaking. "Shapes inside, moving but not alive." Remma's mind raced, the derelict's log echoing. The vault binds the first, but seekers free it. She opened a secure channel to the scout ship, praying it pierced the veil's interference. "Kale, if you hear me, get out. Now." Static roared, then a distorted echo, not Kale's voice. "Free us." She slammed the console, turning to the techs. "Find a way to jam that signal. Whatever's out there, it's not just watching anymore." The construct in the chamber twitched, its hologram shifting to show the vault's interior, not Kale's ship, but a chamber beyond, where shapes like the Guardian stirred, their forms countless and restless. What had they woken? The twins slipped from their quarters, evading the distracted guards as alarms wailed. Zar led the way, Darian trailing, his protests half-hearted. "Mama's gonna be mad," he muttered, but Zar's grin was fierce. "She's busy. We gotta know what the crystal saw." They ducked into the archive chamber, its data crystals glowing softly, untouched by the chaos above. Zar scanned the shelves, her small hands quick, until she found a crystal like Celine's, its surface etched with spirals. "This one," she whispered, touching it. The room hummed, and a hologram flickered, not a record, but a scene, a world of violet skies, towers of living metal, and a figure like the Guardian, bowing to something vast, unseen. Darian grabbed her arm. "Zar, stop!" The hologram vanished, but the hum lingered, vibrating in their bones. Had they called it? Or had it found them? Inside the vault, the heartlight pulsed faster, and Kale felt reality bend, his memories mixing with visions not his own. A child's scream, a burning world, Celine's face, young and terrified, kneeling before a spiral-carved altar. Then another, a fleet of ships not human or Ranrock, dissolving into light as the Guardian watched. He shook his head, grounding himself in the cockpit's hum. "Celine, what's it showing us?" She clutched the cracked crystal, her voice raw. "The Arathi. They built this to hold their gods, or their mistakes." The Guardian's shape loomed closer, its intent shifting. "Choose now." Kale fired again, the pulse useless, and dove the ship deeper, toward the light's core. "If it wants a choice, it gets mine." The ship screamed under the strain, hull plates groaning as they plunged into the heart. On Cerulean, the palaces, shields flickered, the construct's hum syncing with something beyond. Remma led a squad to the sublevels, her dagger drawn, following the construct's signal. It had moved, crawled through the walls, leaving trails of organic residue that pulsed faintly. "It's not just tech," a tech whispered, scanning. It's alive, rewriting itself." Remma's comm crackled with the fleet's update. The derelict was gone, vanished without trace, but sensors picked up new signals, hundreds converging on the system. "Hold the line," she ordered, her voice steel. The construct's hologram flared, showing the vault's core, a light splitting, shapes pouring out, not Guardians but others, their forms defying sense. Remma's heart pounded. "Kale, what did you do?" In the archive, Zar and Darian froze as the crystal hummed again, unprompted. The hologram returned, sharper. The violet world now crumbling, the Guardian's kin rising, their eyes, countless, turning outward. Zar's breath hitched. "They see us, Dari." He nodded, clutching her hand. "We gotta tell Mama." They ran, the crystal's hum chasing them as the palace's lights dimmed, a shadow rippling across the ceiling. Not a glitch, but a presence, patient and vast. The guard outside the archive fell, her scanner sparking, and the twins screamed, their voices lost in the growing hum. The vault's core enveloped Kale's ship, the heartlight now a sea of violet, weightless and endless. The Guardian's shape dissolved, its fragments orbiting them, not attacking but guiding, pulling them toward a platform, solid, spiral-carved, floating in the void. Kale landed the ship, its engines whining, and checked the sensors. No readings, no gravity, no sense. "We're not in normal space," he said, voice tight. Celine nodded, stepping onto the platform, her cracked crystal dimming. This is their sanctuary, or their prison. The air shimmered, and a new shape formed. Not the Guardian, but a figure, humanoid, its skin a mosaic of light, its eyes endless. It spoke not in words, but in images. Worlds born, worlds burned. The Arathi kneeling, then fading, their creation left to watch. Kale's hand hovered over his weapon. What does it want? The figure's gaze shifted, and Celine answered, her voice distant, us, or what we carry. Rema's squad reached the construct's trail, a cavernous sub-level where the walls pulsed with the same organic tech. The construct crouched, its form splitting, spawning smaller shapes that skittered into the dark. Fire, she shouted, her dagger slashing its blood, if it was blood, hissing on the floor. The hologram flared again, showing Kale on the platform, facing the mosaic figure, Celine at his side. Rema's comm roared with static, then Kale's voice faint. Rema, don't follow! The line died, and the construct lunged, its scream shaking the walls. Rema dodged, her squad firing, but the smaller shapes multiplied, their eyes, like the Guardians, watching, waiting. Was this a fight or a distraction? The twins burst into the command center, breathless, Zar clutching Darian's hand. Mama, it's coming, she cried. Rema spun, her face pale. What did you touch? Zar stammered about the crystal, the violet world, the eyes. Rema grabbed them, pulling them behind her as the center's screens flickered, showing not the vault, but cerulean skies. Hundreds of shapes, not ships, descending, their forms rippling like the derelicts. Evacuate non-essentials, she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos. And get me a line to the conclave. The twins clung to her, Darian whispering, we're sorry. Zar's eyes stayed on the screens, where the shapes moved, deliberate, as if they'd always known the way. Had they called this, or was it inevitable? In the vault's core, the mosaic figure extended a hand, not threatening but offering. Images flooded Kale's mind. The Arathi's fall, their gods sealed, their watchers left to judge. Celine stepped forward, her crystal crumbling, and spoke. In that ancient tongue, the figure paused, its eyes shifting, and the platform trembled, new lights flaring, portals maybe, or memories, showing other vaults, other watchers, all stirring. They're not just here, Celine said, voice raw. They're everywhere. Kale's hand tightened on his weapon, useless now. What do they want with us? The figure's intent clarified, cold and vast. Lead or end, the platform. Split, revealing a void below, not empty but alive, countless eyes watching, waiting for their choice. Had they come as seekers or as keys? The palace's shields failed, and the shapes descended silent, their forms bending light itself. Rema held the twins, her squad forming a perimeter as the constructs breached the upper levels, their screams echoing. The conclave's channel opened, a panicked voice. Ceruleans not alone, signals everywhere, systems going dark. Rema's gaze hardened. Then we fight. She kissed Zar and Darian's foreheads, whispering, stay strong. The screens showed the shapes landing, not attacking but waiting, as if the palace was a stage. In the sub-levels, the main construct pulsed, its hologram now a mirror reflecting Rema's face, then Kale's, then the twins, its eyes endless. What did it see in them? Kale faced the mosaic figure, the void below pulsing, its eyes a chorus of judgment. Celine's hand gripped his arm, her voice urgent. Don't choose yet, we don't know enough. The figure's offer lingered, leadership, destruction, or something stranger, its intent unclear. The portals flared brighter, showing glimpses, a city of living metal, a fleet of light, a child with Zar's eyes, older, leading. Kale's breath caught. Is this the future or a lie? The figure didn't answer, but the void stirred, shapes rising, not guardians but kin, their forms vast, curious, hungry. The ship's engines roared, unprompted, and Kale ran for the controls. Celine behind him. We're not done here, he said, lifting off. The figure watched, unmoving as the portals pulsed, pulling at reality itself. What had they started? On Cerulean, the shapes surrounded the palace, their forms shimmering, not attacking but encircling, a silent siege. Rema's squad held the command center, the twins huddled behind consoles, their small hands clutching each other. Zar whispered, "They're like the crystal's shadow." Darian nodded, eyes wide. "They want something." Rema's comm crackled, a faint signal from the veil. Not Kale, but Celine, her voice broken. "Rema, protect them." The line died, and the shapes moved closer, their edges sharpening, limbs, eyes intent. The construct's scream filled the palace, and the sky darkened, stars vanishing one by one. Was this an invasion or a reckoning? The vault's portals flared, and Kale's ship spun, caught in a current of light and void. The mosaic figure faded, but its eyes lingered, burned into his mind. Celine collapsed, her crystal dust now, her breath ragged. "They're not gods," she gasped. "They're us undone." The ship broke free, hurtling toward a new light. Not the heart, but another chamber, vast, filled with structures like the Guardian, dormant but stirring. Kale's senses screamed, hundreds of signals, not from the vault, but beyond, across. "The galaxy. They're waking," he said, voice hollow. Celine nodded, her eyes distant. "And they know our names." The chamber's walls parted, revealing a star field. Not the veil, but somewhere else, alive with motion, countless eyes turning toward them. What had they become? The scout ship hurtled through the vault's new chamber, its engines screaming. As Kale wrestled with the controls, the star field beyond the parted walls twisting in ways that defied physics. Countless eyes, gleaming, unblinking, tracked them from the void. Not stars, but presences, their gaze heavy with curiosity and something sharper, like hunger tempered by patience. Celine slumped in her seat, her cracked crystal now dust scattered. Across the cockpit floor, her pale face etched with exhaustion. "They're not just waking," she murmured, her voice fraying at the edges. "They're remembering." Kale's hands tightened, knuckles white. "Remembering what? Us? The Orathi?" Her silence was louder than the ship's alarms, and the chamber's structures, towers of living metal, pulsing with violet veins, began to hum, their rhythm syncing with the signals now flooding the senses. Had they opened a door or broken a seal? The ship's nav system flickered, spitting coordinates that shifted faster than Kale could track, systems light years apart, all alive with the same pulse. "This isn't one vault," he said, voice low, almost to himself. "It's a network." Celine's eyes, ancient and haunted, met his. The Orathi didn't build to hide, they built to bind. The towers stirred, their surfaces rippling, and a low vibration shook the ship. Not an attack, but a summons, pulling them toward a central spire, taller, darker, its apex glowing with a light that felt like a heartbeat. Kale's gut churned. "We're not guests here, are we?" Celine's smile was faint, bitter. "We never were." The spire's light flared, and a vision hit him, not his memory but hers. A young Celine, kneeling in a temple of spirals, her hands bloodied, swearing an oath to something vast, unseen. What had she promised? On Cerulean Prime, the palace groaned under the weight of silence, the shapes encircling it, hundreds, maybe thousands, hovering just beyond the failing shields, their forms shimmering between solid and shadow. Rema stood in the command center, her violet skin stark against the flickering screens, one hand gripping her dagger, the other shielding Zar and Darian behind her. The twins' eyes were wide, Zar's braids trembling as she whispered, "They're waiting for something, Mama." Darian nodded, clutching her hand, his human pale face mirroring Kale's stubborn calm. "They're not mad," he added, voice small. "They're curious." Rema's jaw tightened, her gaze locked on the screens where the shape's edges sharpened. Limbs, eyes, forms that refused to stay fixed. "Curious or not, they don't get my kids," she snapped, her voice steel. But what did they want? Her family, or something her family had stirred? The center's main screen flickered, showing the sub-level containment chamber, where the construct had multiplied, its spawn crawling across the walls like insects, their organic tech pulsing in sync with the shapes outside. A tech, her lavender, skin slick with sweat, stammered, "It's rewriting the palace grid, shutting down defenses from inside." Rema's comm buzzed with the fleet's desperate report. "My lady, the signals are spiking. Every system in the sector's picking them up. It's not just us." She slammed a fist on the console, opening a channel to the conclave. "This Is Ranrock Ashbourne? We're under siege. Unknown entities, Arathi origin. Respond! Static roared. Then a voice, not conclave, but alien, layered. Seekers. Call us! Zar gasped, clutching Darian. That's what the crystal said. Rema spun, fear and fury colliding. What crystal, Zar? But the screens answered, flashing a hologram from the archive. The violet world, towers falling, eyes rising. Had the twins woken this, or were they just its newest focus? In the vault, the spire's light enveloped the ship, and Kale felt reality fracture. Time slowed, sounds muffled, his thoughts tangled with visions. A city of light, ships dissolving, a child with Darian's eyes leading a fleet. Then another. Celine, older now, sealing a vault, her face wet with tears, whispering, "Not yet." He shook it off, grounding himself in the cockpit's hum. "Celine, talk to me. What are we seeing?" She rose, unsteady, dust falling from her robes. The Arathi's end, and their beginning. They tried to become gods, and this, she gestured at the spire, was their price. The ship landed unbidden on a platform of black stone, its surface carved with spirals that pulsed like veins. The spire loomed, its light now a voice, not sound, but intent. Know or break. Kale drew his weapon, useless, but comforting. "I'm not here to break," he said, stepping onto the platform. Celine followed, her presence heavy, as if carrying centuries. What had she hidden from him? The platform trembled, and a figure emerged. Not the mosaic humanoid, but something new, its form fluid, like mercury shaped by will, its eyes countless, shifting. It didn't speak, but images flooded them. The Arathi's rise, their hubris, crafting watches to guard their divinity, then falling, their watches turning, binding them in vaults across the stars. Kale's breath caught. "They're not gods, they're prisoners." Celine nodded, her voice raw. "And we're the key, or the spark." The figure's eyes locked on her, and a memory surfaced. Not Kale's, but hers. Celine, centuries ago, stealing a crystal from a burning vault, its light the same as the spire's. "You knew," Kale said, turning to her, betrayal sharp in his chest. She didn't flinch. "I suspected. I hoped I was wrong." The figure's intent shifted. "Choose." Now, the platform split, revealing a chamber below, not void but alive, countless forms stirring. Watchers, Arathi or both, their eyes pleading, demanding. What choice was this? On Cerulean, the shapes pressed closer, their hum shaking the palaces. Core. Rema's squad sealed the command center, but the constructs breached the upper halls, their screams echoing like a chorus. Zar tugged Rema's sleeve. "Mama, the crystal showed me. Those things want to talk." Darian nodded, his voice steady despite his fear. "They're not bad, just old." Rema knelt, her dagger still drawn, searching their faces. "You saw this in the archive?" Zar nodded, eyes bright. "It's like they're stuck, waiting for someone to listen." Rema's heart pounded, her kids caught in this, but maybe seeing what she couldn't. She opened a comm to the techs. "Pull every Arathi record. Look for communication protocols. Anything about listeners." The screens flared, showing the shapes outside, now forming patterns, spirals, like the vault's carvings. Were they attacking or reaching? Out, in the sublevels, the main construct pulsed, its spawn merging into a single form, taller, its eyes mirroring the shapes outside. Rema's squad fired, pulses scorching its surface, but it didn't fight back. It watched, its hologram shifting, to show Kale and Celine on the spire's platform, facing the Mercury figure. Rema's breath hitched. "He's alive," she whispered, then louder, "Find me a way to reach him." A tech shouted, "The construct's broadcasting, using our own grid." The hologram flickered, showing not just Kale, but the palace. The twins, Rema herself, as if the construct saw them all, linking them across the stars. Her comm crackled, Celine's voice faint. "Rema, they're not enemies yet." The line died, and the construct moved, not toward her, but upward toward the twins' wing. "No, you don't!" Rema snarled, sprinting after it, her squad behind her. What did it want with her children? In the vault, The Mercury figure extended a hand, and the chamber below pulsed, its forms rising, not attacking but aligning, their eyes a symphony of need, hope, fear. Kale's weapon hung useless at his side, his mind racing. "They want freedom," he said, half questioning. Celine's voice was soft, heavy, or judgment. The Orathi left them to decide who's worthy of release or annihilation. The figure's intent sharpened, lead or end. Kale stepped forward, his voice steady despite the chaos. "I'm not your judge. Tell me what you are." The figure didn't answer, but the chamber flared, portals opening, not to other vaults, but to worlds, skies, violet, green, black, each alive with motion. Watchers, Orathi, or something new, all turning toward him. Celine grabbed his arm. "Don't answer yet, we're not ready." The figure's eyes shifted, and the platform shook, new towers rising, their light a question. "Will you stay?" Kale's jaw set. "We're not running, but we're not playing." "Your game." He ran for the ship, Celine stumbling behind, as the chamber's forms surged, not chasing, but following, their intent unclear. Had they chosen, or just delayed the inevitable? The palace's upper halls echoed with Rema's boots, her squad fanning out as the construct climbed, its form now fluid like the shapes outside, its eyes fixed ahead. She reached the twins' wing, finding it empty, the guards unconscious, scanners fried. "Za, Darian!" she shouted, fear clawing her chest. A hum answered soft from the training hall. She burst in, dagger raised, and froze. The twins stood in the center, unharmed, the construct before them, not attacking but kneeling, its eyes mirroring theirs. Za's voice was calm, too calm. "It's okay, Mama. It just wants to show us." Darian nodded, holding a new crystal, glowing brighter than Celine's. The construct's hologram flared, showing the vault's chamber, Kale and Celine running, then shifting to a world of spirals, where figures like the construct bowed to a child. Za, older, her eyes fierce. Rema's breath caught. "Put it down, Za." But the hum grew, and the shapes outside moved, their patterns tightening as if answering the twins. What were her children becoming? The ship roared through the vault, Kale dodging new towers that rose like sentinels, their light probing the hull. Celine strapped in, her face gray, her power spent. "They're not letting us leave," she said, voice hoarse. Kale's sensors screamed. Signals everywhere, not just the vault, but Cerulean, the conclave, systems no one had charted. "They're not stopping us either," he countered, banking toward a portal, its light green, alive. "What's on the other side?" Celine's eyes closed as if seeing beyond. Another vault, or them. The portal flared, and the ship plunged through, reality twisting. Stars gone, replaced by a sky of liquid light. Structures floating, not metal, but thought, their forms endless. Kale's breath hitched. "This isn't space," Celine's whisper was final. "It's their home." A new figure appeared, not Mercury, but crystalline, its eyes holding Kale's, Rema's, the twins, as if it knew them all. Its intent was simple: join or fade. The ship slowed, unprompted, and Kale felt the weight of choice, not his alone. What had they stepped into? On Cerulean, the shapes tightened their circle, their hum now a song, not threat, but invitation, shaking the palace's core. Rema pulled the twins back, her dagger useless against the construct's calm. "Show me what?" she demanded. Za's eyes glowed, not with power but understanding. "They're lonely, Mama. They've been waiting." "Forever," Darian nodded, the crystal pulsing in his hand. "They picked us." The hologram shifted, showing not just the vault, but the galaxy. Vaults opening, figures rising, eyes turning to Cerulean. Rema's comm roared with the conclave's panic. Systems collapsing, entities everywhere. She grabbed the crystal, its light searing her palm, and the construct stood, its form merging with the shapes outside, their song louder, clearer. "Kale," she whispered, as if he could hear. "What did we start?" The palace's walls cracked, not breaking but changing, spirals carving themselves, and the twins smiled, unafraid. Were they hers anymore, or something more? The crystalline figure faced Kale, its eyes a mirror of everyone he loved. Rema's fire, Za's courage, Darian's calm, Celine's secrets. The sky of thought pulsed, structures shifting, offering glimpses, a galaxy united, worlds burning, the twins grown, leading or falling. "No games," Kale said, voice raw. Show me the truth. The figure's intent deepened. Truth is choice. The ship trembled, portals multiplying, each a path, none clear. Celine's hand found his, her voice a whisper. We can't choose for them all. The figure's eyes flared, and the sky moved. Figures like it rising, not attacking but waiting. Their song now audible, a question across stars. Will you sing with us? Cale's heart pounded, the ship's engines silent, as if the choice was now, not later. What would he carry back if he could return? The palace's spirals spread, walls humming, the shapes now inside, not invading but merging, their forms soft, curious. Rema held the twins, her squad frozen, weapons useless. Zar's voice was steady. They don't want to hurt us, Mama. Darian nodded. They want to be us. The construct dissolved, its light flowing into the twins' crystal, and the song grew, linking palace, vault, galaxy. Rema's comm sparked, Cale's voice faint. Rema, we're not alone. The shapes knelt, their eyes on the twins, and the galaxy's stars flickered, some dimming, some brighter, as if rewriting themselves. What was this union and who would it claim? From palace halls to starlit vaults, Cale's vow changed everything. But what's next for Zar and Darian? The stars aren't done whispering, hungry for more sci-fi where families defy ancient forces. Another breathtaking story of courage and cosmos is one click away. Keep exploring.